Hey everyone, Zeke here. Just wanted to do a quick little live reaction because people know I'm a huge Disgaea fan. Um, I think my camera's covering up the logo, so I'll switch to a different view here. But Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny. It's a real thing. The as I thought, the teaser they put out, I think a month or two ago, was teasing this. This is Disgaea 6. Um, and it comes with a lot of. It comes with one in particular big change, which we'll see. I'm sure everyone's seen the trailer by now, but no, I can't. I'd have to move that over. But yeah, they switched to 3D models, which is a big change, and one initially I was a. This isn't like my first time seeing this. Like I've been thinking it over for about an hour now. From the trailer, I was a little concerned. The 3D models look pretty good, um, and the attack animations seem to be as zany as you would expect them to be. But of course, it was disappointing just because the. God, somebody's fucking lawn mowing. Um, it was disappointing because the HD sprites um, that they kind of pioneered in a way were so good and um, so crisp and stylish on their own that replacing it with 3D models initially to me seemed to be a very obvious sign of a budget cut, which would make sense. NIS has been hovering on the verge of bankruptcy for years now, so that would make sense. But after I went to the website, and there's things in the website that weren't in the trailer. First of all, 2D art for cutscenes is still a thing, which is good. I was initially really worried that they were gonna try to replicate that with 3D models, which I don't think ever really works out super well for these kinds of games. So 2D cutscene art is still a thing. I wonder if they're gonna be as limited as Disgaea 5s were. If they're gonna go back to like the I don't know. I doubt they'd go back to the full animation of Disgaea 4 and Disgaea 3 on Vita, where they were fully animated. At least the transitions between poses were. They're probably gonna have like blinking and stuff like that, like Disgaea 5 had. But I think the full animated transitions are kind of gone. I think they realized that while it was cool, it was a feature that probably took them a lot of time that wasn't super appreciated by people. Like obviously the upgrade to HD sprites was huge, and everyone appreciated that greatly to the point where when they included the old sprite mode in Disgaea 4, according to them, hardly anyone actually used it. Um, like they added the classic sprite option because they were concerned that people would like that better. Like maybe a significant portion of people wouldn't like the HD sprites, and then it turned out that hardly anyone used it, so they stopped doing it after 4. Um, and similarly, after the Vita re-release of 3 that added animated transitions to the cutscene portraits, um, for Disgaea D2 and then Disgaea 5, they stopped. They didn't do that again. Um, Again, probably because it was just one of those things where it was a nice quality of life thing to have. But if you're looking for ways to save on time and money in development, it was something that I don't think a lot of people were going to miss. I missed it sort of, but like I also understood that like the thing about it though is that like they cut it out, and then in Disgaea 5 they had very limited poses anyway. Um, you can actually look on Spriter's resource or whatever. Disgaea 5 characters only had like 2 or 3 poses, and what made it feel like more than that is that they had a couple of different face swaps going on. But it still felt a lot lazier to me, especially when you have characters like Red Magnus, who literally only has 2 poses, this and then like this, and that's literally all he gets. I think, yeah, yeah. Most characters had 2 or 3 poses. I think Killia had 4, but one of them was like only for one scene. So yeah, so they got rid of that nice animated feature, but then they also didn't do a lot of poses to compensate. If you go back to like the original game, Laharl had like I think 13 dialogue portraits, not portraits, sprites. Well, yeah, okay. Cutscene. It's so hard because like usually I would say sprites, but like in the case of Disgaea, sprites are a different thing. Cutscene, I guess portraits good enough. Like characters had a lot more in older games, and then it seemed to get kind of lower after 4. So hopefully this is a little more. This Disgaea 6 is an improvement on that. If they're gonna drop 2D sprites altogether, I would expect that effort to be placed elsewhere, you know. So I don't really care if they're animated transitions or not, but I would like to see more expressions and poses than we had in 5, because 5 was kind of embarrassing in that regard. That was a tangent. I was I was going on something else, but anyway, I thought they were going to use 3D models, but no. It looks like 2D art for cutscenes is still a thing. And if you looked in the trailer in the corner, you could see that 2D illustrated portraits were still a thing. I think it might just be like these headshots that they're using for that, but even so, like these are just neutral poses though. So we got only Zed's name was in the trailer, but we see his sister's name is Bieko. At least I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pronounced Bieko. Overlord Ivar, Cerberus. I called it. I said the dog was going to be a character. There was a lot of debate from the teaser image, the postcard, if the dog was actually going to be a character, and it looks like he is. No renders of like the other girls on the cover though. This one, or the king dude. Which that's a bold design for a Disgaea main character. This King Knight looking motherfucker, but I kind of dig it. This one I'm not so sure about. I think this might just be like a unit, but we'll see. But what really made me more comfortable with the idea of them using 3D models was going over to the screenshot section, and this screenshot in particular has kind of calmed me down in regards to them using 3D models, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, this not only looks like Disgaea, but it also looks like a notable improvement over what we had before. I especially like the texture work on the field is really nice. These glowing cracks of presumably lava are really awesome. This like matte painting background for a skybox is really cool. If we're gonna move away from like the sort of spectral voids that maps had been floating in before into things that like more closely resemble what their actual location is supposed to be, that's really cool. Like this, just on its own, this presentation here looks really nice. You know, if they're going to drop HD sprites in favor of 3D models, then I like that they seem to be doubling down on the 3D tech and making it look as good as it can be. Because this looks good. Like, you know, people are going to make unfortunate Pokemon comparisons, but like this legitimately looks really good. And as you can see, there's still 2D art for the cut-ins. I really like this girl's design. I don't know, we don't have her name yet. And then there's another like presumable main character there as well. And then you've got Laharl and Flan. I'm hoping that they're not involved in the plot, and it's just they're just recruitable in post-game bonus models, or maybe do another joke ending. That'd be nice. What if Laharl's the father again? That'd be great. Look at this boisterous dude. Very different, but I like it. But yeah, it was really... Yeah. I guess some of the things they can do with attack animations will be pretty interesting now. Like the 3D models actually look pretty good. They do capture the style of Harada's artwork really well. I'm reminded of when I first saw um, the 3D models in another episode, Absolute Despair Girls, um, where like that they somehow managed to really convey Ruriko Matsuzaki's art style in 3D models, and it seems like NIS has done the same thing with Harada's art. Granted, this isn't like the first. I think this isn't the first time Harada's artwork has been used in 3D models. I think it was also. I mean, it's also been used in like as 3D assets in other games. Even like Disgaea 4 and 5 had a little bit of that, and then Guided Fate Paradox had a little bit of that. I don't actually know what Awakened Fate Ultimatum looks like, but I know that one was in 3D as well. And then there's Witch in the Hundred Knight and its sequel that I believe. See, I don't remember seeing it. I didn't play that. I didn't play the first game very much though, so I don't remember if any characters showed up in 3D. Anyway, so it's not like the first time, but like for a mainline Disgaea game, it's the first time, and they've clearly had to like figure that out more than they had in the past, is what I'm saying. Like I think this is whatever they're doing here is kind of a new solution. And while it's not necessarily my preference, I do think it looks good, and if it saves this dying company some money and lets this game even happen in the first place, then I'm all for it. I like that we got the black UI back. This looks like the UI from Absence of Detention. Like one of the defaults was like black. So I'm all up on that. That looks good. Yeah. And like I like the style they're going for. It's very it's kind of like all the like you can just see it in the you can't see the logo there, but um, just these blues, the sort of like teal meets magenta sort of situation, which I guess reflects the main characters, but like the entire color scheme is very very Disgaea. I do like it a lot. Like, yeah, these screenshots have done a lot to warm me on this new visual style, because it's clear that like the important bits are not going away, and like the change in presentation has been like I'm not convinced this isn't a budget thing, but at the same time they are taking a more artistic approach to it. You know, they're like, well, if we have to do this, let's do it well, you know. So I can respect that mindset at least. Summer 2021 here. We found out later that it's coming out in Japan on January 28th. So at first I thought it was going to be a simultaneous worldwide release, but it's not. Would have been nice, but yeah, reality calls. I don't mind that part so much. What I do mind is that apparently the PS4 version is Japan exclusive, which is really bizarre. I don't know why they're doing that. Because, like, releasing near the end... Some people say it's because they're releasing... Because, like, by the time it would come out, the PS5 will already be out. But, like, that's not really been a problem for NISA before. When they released Disgaea D2 on PS3, the PS4 was literally, like, 2 months away at that point. And what was the other case? This is going way back, but when they released Soul Nomad and the World Eaters on PS2, at that point I think the PS3 was already out. So that really hasn't been an issue for them. I'm really curious. I'm not like annoyed or anything. I have both consoles, so like I don't really care. But like it's interesting to me that like at the moment at least it seems like North America's only getting the Switch version. I wonder if there's like a sales reason for that. Like, I really just wanted to, like, I don't know. I hate when they localization companies do this. Like when we didn't get the Vita version of Catherine Full Body, or even with NISA, when we didn't get the Vita version of what was it called? Labyrinth of Refrain. We didn't get that one on Vita. And then I swear they like made a Switch port just to sell it here. I guess they've just been doing really well on Switch. But okay, I get that, but like, and I get that maybe their games are doing better on Switch than they did on PS4. I get that. That makes sense. But also, like, were they doing were they doing so bad on PS4 that like it's not worth it to bring over those versions anymore? I mean, I do remember reading that like the PS4 version of Danganronpa V3 had like really low sales. Don't blame me. I bought it at launch, but um, I do remember reading that that had really low sales compared to like the Vita and PC versions. But that's the other thing is that like the PC has been like really good for NISA, I believe. So the fact this isn't getting at the moment, it doesn't seem like it's getting a PC port. When lately they've been trying to force PC ports for their newer games is kind of strange to me because it's like I'm just trying to figure out. It's such a weird situation, you know. Like I'm not personally affected because again I have a Switch, but like it's such a weird situation because I'm trying to puzzle out like okay well like again like maybe PS4 hasn't been doing so well for them. I understand that, but then like PC has reportedly been doing really well for them, and then that it's not coming there. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand, and until they tell us, I don't think I'm ever going to understand this what they're going for here. Was there anything else I saved? Um, no, I think that was it. Um, yeah, it looks good though. It looks good. I like the designs, especially of the twins, or not twins, siblings. Um, but you know, and I like these other character designs. They look nice, especially this girl. I like her. I wonder if the dog talks. Is the dog like a character, or is he just is it just kind of like a dog? I'm assuming it's probably a talking dog. Yeah. Yeah, I hope the writing is better this time around. My main problem with Disgaea 5, because the gameplay was pretty good, but my main problem with Disgaea 5 was the plot. Just, they, I'd love. I mean, that's a video in itself that I want to make at some point. Um, but like, man, Disgaea 5 just so much lower quality writing than past titles, and I hope they put more focus on that this time. You know, I'm not gonna get into a whole Disgaea 5 critique here. You know, that again later video, but like, yeah. And I want them to streamline the system bloat that's happened in for a while now. I'd say pretty much ever since 3. There's just so much macro management outside of battle, and it's like honestly, like I'm no economist, but I feel like I have a good enough grasp of these things to say that I think like one of the reasons NIS has not broken like is having such financial problems and is not like had the level of success that they want is partially a refusal to an absolute refusal to streamline their systems and make their shit a little bit more appealing. I'm not saying like changing the core identity of the series or anything in terms of its humor and its concepts and its irreverence and even its type of gameplay, but just like streamline the systems. You know, there's once you get to the post deep enough into the post game of these games lately, there's just so much shit you have to keep track of, and I feel like it can really get it's really overwhelming for people. And having your series identity as the grinding series at this point, even if that's not strictly speaking true because the whole point is to circumvent the grind with, you know, exploits and other methods, you know, the fact of the matter is, Disgaea has the reputation of being the grinding series, and that's not going to appeal to a lot of people. And like being niche is fine, but being niche to the point of bankruptcy is a bit of a problem. So I really hope that there's some. I mean, they talk in the trailer. There was some talk of like some accessibility sounding features, but like they were talking about shit like auto battles, which I don't think is really the I don't think is the solution. If your solution to the problem is let the game play itself, I don't think that's a good solution. I think what they need to do is you can have the ridiculously high numbers in the ridiculous post game. You can even have some grind. That's not a problem, but you need to cut back on the number of macro management systems the player has to keep track of, the amount of like research and guides they have to follow outside of the game, and just do a better job at communicating how you get to that point. You know, my problem is not the insanely high numbers, the insanely high levels and damage and all that. You know, my problem is that getting there is not explained very well by the game itself. It relies on a lot of outside knowledge, and even when you have that outside knowledge, it's not really satisfying, at least not to me, because there's just so much macro management, you know. And like, yeah, there are definitely some people that are into that, but even those people I feel would be okay if you cut back on the system bloat. You know, I feel like if you focus on the parts of the game that are actually fun, I think that appeals to everyone, you know. Because I feel like people put up with that. I feel like people put up with a lot of the system bloat in the background, because the act of what you get out of it is fun for them. But like, that's a hard thing to really describe to consumers, I guess. I don't know. I just want Nippon Ichi to do well. Is what I love this company. I followed them for probably about 15 years now, and I've watched them. I've watched them try out a lot of different things and go in a lot of different directions, and I think that I think with this game they really need to scale back. They need to scale back. They need to cut some of the bloat and streamline it into something that's more appealing and more accessible to people. Again, not without losing its identity. I know those are scary words for long time fans, and I'm a long time fan, and I'm saying them. I normally wouldn't say that you need to cut back, because like the thing to me is that I don't think those things those elements, all those features and systems outside of battle, those don't comprise the core identity of Disgaea to me. That's just the feature sprawl that happened as the series went on. It's not the core thing to me. And I think they need to really reevaluate that and make something that more people can get behind. That's what I think. Anyway, you know, I'm just a dude. And yeah. I'm just a dude who's always played these games more for the story anyway, but like, yeah, that's what I think they need to do. I'm glad this game finally is revealed properly and is going to exist. I'm very excited for it to see what they've cooked up over there. You know, I haven't been. The peak of the series so far for me is Disgaea 4, and I think they've really struggled to reach that level of quality and firing on all cylinders ever since then. And I hope they've finally found it with this game. It looks very promising. And yeah, that's my reaction to Disgaea 6. Defiance of Destiny. I like that subheader. Their subheader game is on point again. Yeah. Anyway, this has just been my brief little reaction. Zeke freak out. Ciao ciao for now.